Hi there, you guys. This is Dragon Ball and Cartoon Fan 2004 here. And okay, so if you guys didn't know, Freeform has done yet another Toy Story movie marathon today, where they air all four movies back to back to each other. They're airing all four movies back to back with each other. And actually, they're still doing the marathon right now, and they're currently airing the fourth movie. And yes, guys, I am sacrificing watching the fourth movie just so I could do this video. And yeah, not that that matters too much to me, since, like I've said many times before on the channel, I don't think the fourth movie is that great in terms of Toy Story standards. But anyway, the reason why I brought up the marathon thing is because it gave me an idea. It got me in the mood to do this backstory video that I think I thought about maybe doing for a while now, but I haven't gone around to do it. Although I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it tonight, right now. And yeah, here it is, guys. This will be my first backstory video in months. And this backstory will be about my backstory with the Toy Story franchise. Yep, this backstory will be all about my experience with Toy Story, how I got into it, and whatnot. Yada yada yada. Yeah, there's a lot to explain with this backstory. So I'm gonna try not to waste any more time. I'm gonna jump right into it. So yeah, I've been a big fan of Toy Story all my life, like almost all my life, I'd say. Like, because it's not like I got into it like as soon as I was born. But anyway, yeah, I got into Toy Story when I was a really little kid. We had Toy Story on DVD on this old DVD, which I'm pretty sure we still have now, but it's sitting in storage along with the other Toy Story DVDs we have. Yeah, it was an old DVD of the first movie. It was an old DVD of the first film. And yeah, we used that DVD a lot. We used that DVD a lot back in the day. Like, I think this was a little bit before I went to preschool. I don't know, maybe like a year or so. I don't exactly remember because it's been so long. But yeah, we used to watch Toy Story 1 on repeat like all day, like probably like all day, every day. My mom would put Toy Story 1 out in the living room, and me and my little sister Josie would be watching it while our mother would be making us ramen and whatnot. And yeah, it was awesome. We watched the first one so many times. We watched it on repeat like every day. And yeah, I remember when I was going to preschool, I would hear my little sister Josie watching the movie at night at preschool, like on a preschool night where I'd have to go to sleep early while she's like, upstairs watching Toy Story. Yeah, I remember that. And yeah, we also had a similar experience with the second movie, though we didn't really watch it as many times, though we still watched the second one a lot. We used to have DVR recordings of Toy Story 2 back when we had Dish, Dish Network. We've actually had Dish Network twice, and this was back during the first time we had Dish. We had two DVR recordings of Toy Story 2 off of the Disney Channel, and yeah, we watched those recordings over and over and over again. And yeah, I think a lot of the time we'd watch those recordings without skipping through the commercial breaks, since we couldn't find the remote at the time, and without the remote, like you can't skip through the commercials on DVR recordings if you have Dish Network, or probably like any cable provider for that matter. Sorry, tongue twister. But yeah, we watched those Toy Story 2 recordings a lot. Yeah, a lot. And I think when I first saw Toy Story 1, I didn't know they made a second one. But then, I saw Toy Story 2 off that DVR recording. And yeah, yep. And, we started watching Toy Story 2 over and over and over again off those DVR recordings. And it was sure a good experience. And yeah, of course, since I wasn't alive yet at the time, I was born in 2004, and the first two movies came out in 1995 and 99. I obviously didn't get to see either of the first two movies in theaters. Like, I know a good chunk of other people who have grown up with Toy Story have seen both those movies in movie theaters. However, though, I did see Toy Stories 3 and 4 in movie theaters, and I'm going to talk about our experience with watching the third movie in theaters right now. Okay, so it was way back in 2010, obviously, since it was the year Toy Story 3 came out. I think it was like a couple months after, maybe like 1 or 2 months after Adventure Time came out on Cartoon Network. Yeah, and maybe like a bit after I started, my big hatred for the show started. But yeah, we went out to theaters. We went out to theaters as a family. We saw Toy Story 3, and yeah, we saw the movie in theaters. And yeah, we had 3D glasses on and whatnot as we were watching the film. Even though I remember not having my glasses on the whole time. Like, I think I spent a good chunk of the time we did watching the movie, like putting them like up, like right above my eyes, or maybe like having them off and just watching the film. And yeah, we saw Toy Story 3 in theaters. And yeah, we also saw Toy Story 3 a couple more times, like some more times a while later, because it would come on the TV, like on the Disney Channel, like on Disney XD and ABC and whatnot. So yeah, we saw the movie a few times as a family. First time in theaters, another time was off TV channels like ABC, and I think one time we saw it as a family off Disney XD. If it wasn't that, it was definitely the original Disney Channel. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the original Disney Channel. Although I'm pretty sure I recorded the third movie. I think I might have recorded the third movie for the DVR off of Disney XD one time. But yeah, we saw the third movie a good chunk of times, but like I haven't seen, like, not as much. I haven't seen the third movie as much as I have with the first two movies in the franchise, especially not the first one. Oh my gosh, I've seen those movies so many times. Like, I wouldn't say as much as Shrek, but still, I've still seen the first three Toy Story movies so many times growing up. Yeah, I haven't seen the fourth one as nearly as much because I don't like the fourth one as nearly as much as the other three movies. And you know what? I'll go more in depth with my experience with the fourth one right now, even though I already went in depth with it well enough on the channel. But you know what? Since this is a Toy Story backstory video, why not? I'll talk about it. Hopefully I won't spend too long on this. But yeah, like I think like 8 or 9 years after we saw Toy Story 3 in theaters, me, my little sister Josie, and my father Jason all went out to theaters to see Toy Story 3. Maybe like, I think maybe like a day or two after it came out in theaters. Maybe like right after, maybe like the day after Father's Day in 2019. But yeah, we saw Toy Story 4 in theaters. And yeah, we saw the movie in theaters, and yeah, I remember really liking it. But I think, yeah, I liked the movie less and less over time and got more fed up with it, like the fact that it exists. Because, like I said before, I agree with many people that the third movie definitely had the best ending to the franchise. With spoilers, in case if you hadn't seen it, with, Andy giving all his toys away to Bonnie and him going off to college and whatnot. And yeah, like as time went on, I've got more and more upset with Toy Story 4. And yeah, not to the point where I hated it. No. Not to the point where I hated it or anything like that. Like I've said many times before, I think it's a good film, but for Toy Story standard, it is garbage. Though, if you have it on, the chances are I'm going to be a big sucker and want to watch it anyway because of how much I love Toy Story. Even though right now I'm actually missing Toy Story 4 off Freeform right now so I can make this video, but still. Like, yeah, if you have it on, chances are I'm going to be a big sucker and want to watch it because, it's still Toy Story and I'm a big sucker for Toy Story. And chances are the same thing will be the same. It will be the same thing with Toy Story 5 when that comes out, even though I think it's best that I don't see Toy Story 5 and, just stick with the first three movies and pretty much just not watch the fourth one unless if it's on TV or something. But, yeah, if you have the fifth movie on, the chances are I'll still want to watch it. Even though, yeah, it's a sequel to it would be a sequel to the fourth movie. And I think the fourth movie is an absolutely unnecessary sequel. And I remember, when we saw Toy Story 4 in theaters in 2019, I thought I really liked it, and I thought it was better than Toy Story 3. But then I quickly took that back, and to this day, yeah, I still haven't, taken that back. I still haven't, had that opinion again, where I think Toy Story 4 is a better film than 3. No. Toy Story 3 is a way better film than Toy Story 4, along with Toy Stories 1 and 2. Not that the fourth movie is bad. Again, it's good, but for Toy Story standard, it's garbage, in my opinion. I've liked it less and less over time, and yeah, even though I did originally like it when we saw it in theaters, and it was cool how I saw it in theaters in 2019, the same year me and my brothers took me out to see Dragon Ball Super Broly earlier that year, but still, it was yeah. The ending, though, I would probably say is one of the best parts of the movie. I would say the movie has some really good parts in it. I really like Bunny and Ducky. Bunny and Ducky are a pretty funny duo, and Duke Kaboom's pretty cool. And I do like how the film gets more depth to Bo Peep and whatnot. That stuff's cool. And yeah, I do find the ending to be pretty emotional. And I remember thinking for a while that it was more sad than Toy Story 3's ending, but for a while now, it's not. I find Toy Story 3's ending to be way sadder than Toy Story 4's ending now. Although Toy Story 4's ending is still pretty sad to me. With, of course, more spoilers with Woody, staying with Bo and her sheep at the carnival and leaving a lot of his friends back with Bonnie. It's a really emotional ending. I was so sad by that ending when we saw it in theaters. I was really sad by it because it felt like another piece of my childhood coming to an end. Even though, like I said before, I have heard the news about them making a Toy Story 5, and yet, stupid. But yeah, I was really sad by Toy Story 4's ending. But I did manage to make myself feel better about it. After we saw the movie by watching YouTube poops and stuff of Toy Story, and going through the Toy Story treats that I don't think I even knew about until after we saw Toy Story 4. I found those Toy Story treats off of YouTube where it's Toy Story shorts that I'm pretty sure take place in between the first two movies, and I think they might have done it with different voice actors for like at least like some of the characters. I think they might have still had Tom Hanks voice Woody, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I did manage to make myself feel better from the Toy Story 4 ending, and yeah, I've sure as hell made myself feel better about it like now, since I don't think it's as nearly as sad as the third movie's ending. But yeah, I would say I've always thought the third movie's ending was sad. Although, yeah, I remember like it made a good chunk of my family cry. It made my I'm pretty sure it made both my grandparents cry. It made my mother cry. It made my sisters cry, and yeah, I made fun of them for crying over that ending. But now I don't blame them because guess what? Yeah, like I said before, I cried over that ending. The last three times I saw Toy Story 3, I cried over that ending. The last three times within under this past year, cried. Yeah, and I cried at it again when I watched Toy Story 3 on Freeform tonight because it's such a sad ending. It is. And yeah, that ending really did get sadder to me, more sad to me as I grew older and whatnot. And yeah, it really is a sad ending, but I still think that ending was the perfect way to end the Toy Story franchise. Unlike the fourth one, which again, I'm not gonna say it again. You guys get my point. I've said that too many times on my channel, but yeah, I don't love the fourth movie as nearly as much as the first three movies. I love the first three movies to death. I've always loved them. I've always loved them. I've seen them many times for a reason. Because I love all of them so much, and I just watched all three of them, rewatched all three of them yet again off Freeform today. And chances are, if I see those three movies be played back to back to each other during a marathon, like not just off of Freeform, but like let's say another TV channel, like one of the Disney channels or Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or ABC, yeah, the chances are, yeah, I'll still want to watch that marathon, even if it's like a week from now. I still want to watch it because I'm such a big sucker for Toy Story, and I love Toy Story so much. It's always been my favorite Pixar movie, and yeah, it will continue to be my favorite Pixar movie. Yeah, even though I really like other Pixar movies too, like Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc.'s really good. Both Inc. and University and The Incredibles movies are really good. Finding Nemo is really good, much better than Finding Dory. And Up's cool, and A Bug's Life's cool. But none. I don't think any of them will I love as much as Toy Story. I love Toy Story so much. It's like one of my favorite things. It's like one of my favorite things. I think Shrek and Toy Story will probably be my two favorite kids movies ever. Yeah, I think it's at a very close level to Shrek. I love both of them so much. Like I love both of them so much. I've seen both of them many times for a reason. Especially if we're talking about the first two movies in the Shrek franchise, and especially if we're talking about the first two movies from both these franchises in general. Even though I've seen the third movie a lot, although I definitely haven't seen as much as the other two movies. Yeah, I probably don't like it as much as the other two movies, to be honest. Although I still think the third movie's at a close level to the other two movies. Yeah, I still think the first three movies are all like at a really close level to each other, and it can be so hard for me to pick a favorite between them. I don't know. It can be so hard for me to pick a favorite between them. I think the first one used to be my favorite though because of the interactions between Woody and Buzz, and the whole like the whole plot about Woody being jealous of Buzz, and them not liking each other at first, not agreeing with each other. Woody having a hard time trying to convince Buzz that he's a toy, not a space ranger. I really love that stuff in Toy Story 1. I don't know. I don't know what my favorite Toy Story is out of the first three. They're all great as tier masterpiece movies. Love all of them so much. And yeah, I love Toy Story so much to the point where we used to have Toy Story toys, like when I was little, like toys of the Toy Story franchise when I was little, back when I used to play with toys. Like one of the toys I remember us having was this one toy. Like it had that like shark toy that Andy had in his room, and Woody without his hat. And yeah, like the hat, the shark was wearing Woody's hat like he did in the film, and yeah, it would be stuck to his head, and yeah, Woody would be like, "Oh no, my hat!" He would have like a shocked face and whatnot. It was a pretty funny toy. I also remember me and Josie each had our own Buzz Lightyear toy, and yeah, they broke. I think they both eventually broke. I especially remember the helmet coming off of one of them, but yeah, I think we also both might have had. If I remember correctly, I think we each also might have had our own Sheriff Woody doll. I don't know. Or maybe Josie was the only one who had that Woody toy. I don't know, but I do remember us each having our own Buzz Lightyear toy, though. We definitely have each had our own Buzz Lightyear toy. And I remember one time I brought my Buzz Lightyear toy to school. It was sitting in my backpack I think when I was in kindergarten. Yeah, one time when I was in kindergarten. And yeah, as I was going through my day in kindergarten at school, I imagined my Buzz Lightyear toy escaping my backpack to go experience at school. Like I think I just imagined and pretended that my Buzz Lightyear toy was sneaking out the back to go experience at school, and whatnot. Like maybe like hide in the hallways, like when you see a teacher or a student come by. Yeah, that funny stuff. I imagine. I imagine when I brought my Buzz Lightyear toy to school that one time, because you know how toys are in Toy Story. You know how they're alive when their owners aren't looking, when humans aren't looking, and whatnot, when humans can't notice them. Yeah, I imagine that funny thing when I was little. That one time where I brought my Buzz Lightyear toy to school, and that might have been the only time I brought any toy to school for that matter. Yeah. I've also loved Toy Story so much to the point where, like I said before, I've seen many YouTube poofs of Toy Story growing up, and honestly, Toy Story might be my favorite source when it comes to YouTube poofs because I've seen a good chunk of, because I've seen some really good YouTube poofs from Toy Story. like these ones from, I think, like AlpacaHawk or whatever his name is. These ones about Buzz not being, that's called, one of them being called Buzz is not a flying toy, and the other being called Woody loses his Schmoe. I love both those YouTube poops. I've seen both of them a good number of times. They're both nice, funny, family-friendly YouTube poops. And if you guys want to watch them, I'll leave them in links in the description below. Yeah, and I've seen other good Toy Story YouTube poops too, but I don't want to drag this video out by listing out every single Toy Story YouTube poop that I've seen. Although I have seen some Toy Story YouTube poops that have gotten copyright blocked, and like maybe at least like one or two YouTube poops of Toy Story that have gotten copyright blocked, and some that would be ruined for me with the My Little Pony references and whatnot, because YouTube poops like to reference My Little Pony so much, and yeah, you guys know how I feel about that. Just like how these Toy Story spoofs and these spoof films on these spoof casts on YouTube in general like to include My Little Pony, and of course me in the Return of the Fox. I hate that. But whatever, it's other people's content. They can do whatever they want. But that's not going to stop me in the Return to Fasa from hating My Little Pony and people using it in their videos. Oh! I also remember when I was little and I would record like the gas station scene off my phone and watch it off my phone a lot too. Yeah, I remember doing that because of how much I love that specific scene from the first movie. Yeah, I think that's always been my favorite scene in the Toy Story franchise, where Woody and Buzz are lost at the gas station, and there's the famous "You are a toy" quote. I may be screaming, but I'm in a workout room at the hotel we're staying at. Yeah, I don't want to cause a noise complaint or anything. And yeah, I also remember making videos where I'd add dialogue to that specific scene too. And I also remember doing Toy Story voiceovers where I used to record Toy Story voiceovers and record them for me to watch on my phone like I did with Tom and Jerry. And yeah, those voiceovers are completely gone now. I never upload them, and yeah, you can't watch those videos ever. But if I were to go back to those Toy Story YouTube poops, I can imagine me cringing at them now. Now that I'm 18 years old, and my voice has gotten a lot deeper since I made those videos. And yeah, same thing with those old Tom and Jerry voiceover videos that I used to do when I was little and I had a really high tone voice. But yeah. And of course, I also love Toy Story to the point where I've seen a good number of spoofs around Toy Story. Like, I probably wouldn't say as nearly as much as Shrek, but I've still seen a good number of Toy Story spoofs on YouTube, especially if it's like, I'm working on a Toy Story spoof cast of my own, like a Toy Story spoof cast or a clip video or that canceled Toy Story 1 movie I was doing last year. Yeah, I've seen a good number of Toy Story spoofs on YouTube, like, Rabbit Lovers, Toon Story movies, which I reviewed last year. And yeah, The Return of the Fossas, Toy Story, the Fossa movies, which I reviewed earlier this year, which, by the way, he's currently working on the third movie, and he wants me to review that after I watch the movie the whole way through. And yeah, more about that in the future. I am looking forward to seeing him do the third one. I've also seen some of Mario Sonic Philly fans' Toon Story movies, and yeah, I've seen a lot of Toy Story spoof casts on YouTube and whatnot. And yeah, it's really good fun. And yeah, I've done a good number of, and I've done a few Toy Story spoof casts of my own, like that one big Toy Story Jane Picture style cast video that I got last year, and the one I had premiere on the 4th of July earlier this month, Toy Story Dragon Ball and Cartoon Fan 2004 style. Yeah, I think I do want to do more for that franchise, like, later this year. Like, I have been thinking about maybe doing like spoof casts for Toy Story, that time forgotten Toy Story of Terror, I think. Yeah, Toy Story of Terror, and that do muted spoof cast videos for that this year to celebrate Halloween and Christmas. I will probably do that. And yeah, by the way, I do really like those specials too. Toy Story that time forgotten, Toy Story of Terror. Yeah, those two Halloween and Christmas specials. I really like both of them. I do remember watching them off of ABC. And yeah, they're not as good. I wouldn't say they're as good as any of the first three movies, but they're still really good movies. I think I would rather watch those than the fourth movie. And I've also seen like the Toy Story tunes that they did that would take place. I also remember watching the Toy Story tunes that they did that took place in between the events of 3 and 4 with, with Buzz being replaced with a smaller version of himself, even though I didn't see that one until years later off of YouTube after we saw Toy Story 4, like the Toy Story treats, and this one where Rex causes an overflow, a bathtub overflows at Bonnie's house, funny shorts like that, and that one Hawaii short they did that's about a Ken and Barbie going on a fake Hawaii trip, and I especially remember Buzz's pronunciation of Hawaii in that short. Nay, way I, it's Hawaii, Buzz. That's pretty funny, but sure as heck isn't as funny as him mispronouncing s'mores in Toy Story 2. They're called s'mores, Buzz. That will always be one of my favorite parts in the second movie. But yeah. But yeah, what I'm saying here is that Toy Story, my family and I grew up with Toy Story. We've loved Toy Story over the years, but I'll tell you, no one loves Toy Story as much as me. No one in this family, at least, loves Toy Story as much as me. Because, like I said before, I freaking love Toy Story. The first 3 movies, yeah, and I also really like the other extras they did to the franchise, like the treats and the those 2 holiday specials I was talking about, and the tunes. Yeah. Those are cool too. But the first 3 movies, in my opinion, will always be the best of the franchise. Love them so much. And the 4th movie, in my opinion, won't ever be as nearly as good as those first 3 movies. Yeah, no one in this family loves Toy Story as much as me. I've loved it throughout almost my entire life, and I'll continue to love it. And yeah, I'll show that by reviewing the Return of the Fossa's Toy Story 3, the Fossa Project, which is coming out sometime soon. Don't know exactly when because he's being slow with it. Not that I'm rushing the guy. He can take his time with the project. He can take his time with it. But yeah, I am looking forward to watching that project so I can review it. And yeah, I do also remember that Joseph Creates Content Studios asked me a few times if I could review his Toy Story spoof film series, and yeah, I've been too lazy to do it, but I might work on it pretty soon. I don't know. I might get after I do the Toy Story 3 the Fossa review, or after I get another part of my Shadow Strike project out. But yeah. I think that would be a fun review for me to do one of these days. Maybe I'll do it sometime after he completes the 3rd movie, because as of right now, his Toy Story franchise that he wants me to review only has the first 2 movies complete, but he plans on continuing it with the movies 3 and 4 and whatnot. So, yeah, I've loved Toy Story throughout almost my entire life, and I'll continue to love it and show my love for it on the channel. And, I think I covered the backstory well enough. So, there you guys have it. I've been a big fan of Toy Story ever since I was introduced to it on DVD. Maybe when I was 2, 3 years old. I don't exactly remember because, like I said before, it's been a really long time. But ever since I was a little boy and we watched Toy Story 1 a lot on DVD of the old DVD we have. Been a big fan of Toy Story. I've also gotten more DVDs of Toy Story since then, like how I've told you guys before, how we have DVDs of all the first 3 movies on DVD, except for the 4th one, because, for that obvious reason that I've stated many times on my channel before. Yeah, we have all the first 3 movies on DVD. I think they're still in storage right now, but I'm sure we'll get them out of storage eventually. And, if you guys want to, you can tell me in the comment section down below what was your backstory with Toy Story, or what my backstory was, or, what you think of my backstory with Toy Story. And, I think this is good for my first backstory video in quite a long time. So, with all this being said, I'm going to drop the video off from here, and, get this video uploaded. So, with all this being said, that's it for the video, you guys. Bye, everyone. Thank you all for watching this video, and good night.